Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Sir Jaden. In this video, I'm going to teach you personally, just like you and me, only for SPM 2024 actual SPM paper 1. Okay, we're going to break this down into three parts. The first part, I will be discussing from question 1 all the way to question 6. And then part 2 will be another 6. Part 3 will be the remaining questions. Okay, now without further ado, let's get started. All right, get ready your notes, get ready your pen, write it down as much as you can. Let's look at the first question. Diagram 1 shows the straight line graph obtained when y equal to 4x squared minus 5 is reduced to linear form, ditukarkan dalam bentuk linear. Now, looking at the diagram, right, we have a capital letter Y and a capital letter X. Now, this is because they won't tell you the answer directly, right? And the question says, express X and Y in terms of X and or Y. So when you notice question like this, write it down that your answer will look somehow like this. X equal to something with Y or X. Okay, Y equal to something with Y or X. This is somehow what your answer is going to be look like. Okay, now the thing is, how do we get something similar to this diagram? Now this diagram shows a straight line. What do you understand about a straight line? A straight line, our equations usually is y equal to mx plus c, right? And then the x is power 1. But in this topic, all right, we try to convert it into y equal to mx plus c. We want to make sure that our m and c is clearly defined. It's clearly defined means we can understand that what is actually the m and what is actually refers to c. What is m and c here? M and c represent your gradient and y-intercept. Okay, in Malay, we call it keturunan and pintasan y. Okay, without further ado, let's write down y equal to 4x squared minus 5. How do we reduce it and make it into this format? So that I'm very clear with the equations whereby my c and m is clearly determined. If based on this diagram, right, my y-intercept is 4, right? That means my 4 should fall under this c position. Okay, but how do we do that? First step, we consider divide by x squared. Okay, you know why? Because the 4 and x squared stick together, but I only want a single 4. So the fastest way for me to reach the 4 alone is to divide x squared. So when I divide x squared, right, remember, I divide the left hand side, which is y. Over here, 4x squared, if you divide x squared and x squared can be cancelled. So you only left with 4. But your negative 5 here, negative 5 cannot be divided by x squared, right? So we just write it back, divide by x squared. Now, this is still not the format of y equal to mx plus c because your c should be at the back. So you switch the 4 to the back, you get negative 5 over x squared plus 4 because there is no negative sign in front of 4. So when you move to the back, right, it still remain as a positive sign. So this is plus 4 and y over x squared on your left hand side. Is this done yet? Obviously not yet because we still need to find what is actually our x, all right? So our x here, 5 over x squared. We can separate this negative 5 out, make it as 1 over x squared. How do I make this? Because if you try negative 5 multiply by 1, you get back the same thing as negative 5 over x squared, right? So if I separate these two, that means I will get negative 5 bracket 1 over x squared. And then plus 4. Now you finally get the exact formula or exact framework, just like y equal to mx plus c. This is your y, this is your m, this is your x, this is your c. That is what I mean by you can clearly determine what is your gradient and what is your c. And especially you have to align with the diagram that we have over here. Your y-intercept, pintasan y adalah 4 positive. So over here, how do I make it to answer like this? You use a method called comparison, perbandingan. So comparing the position y here with the equation that you did. So your answer should be y equal to y over x squared. And comparing your x position here with the exact position in your equation, which is capital X equal to 1 over x squared. And that is how you secure your 2 marks. Okay, and that will be just the question 1. So please take some time to write this down and make sure you jot down what have you learned. For example, you learned that it should be change it into y equal to mx plus c. This is bentuk linear. Okay, bentuk linear, number 1. Number 2 is if your diagram shows you the pintasan y or y-intercept is 4, that means when you finish converting the equation into linear form, your C here should be tally or aligned with the diagram. And that is a sign to show that you have actually done it correctly from converting the non-linear to linear form. Okay, once you did that, you also learn about comparison method. Comparison method. Comparison method will help us to achieve this question, to solve this question. So all these are small details and knowledge that you have to acquire for you to answer the questions in the future. Okay, now write that down. Okay, I'm not gonna stay here for long because otherwise the video is gonna be too lengthy. All right, I don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna move on. If you need it, you may pause the video. Okay, now let me move on to number 2. We have questions from chapter 1 function. Right. Let's read the question together. Diagram 2 shows the relation of two sets. State the range of the relation. Julat hubungan. Okay. Now, what is julat or range? Range, all right. I want you to write a small note here. Range is image link with object only. So you tell me or you ask yourself, among the set B, what are the images that are linked with the object? So we have set A and set B, right? This is set A. Set A always will be your object. The one that has been linked is your image. So among 5 of the numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there are only 4 numbers are being linked. And this 4 will be part of your answer. Okay, the way to write your range answer, this is another important fact. Range, you're gonna write your answer in this way. Not a normal bracket. This is the bracket similar to how you write your set notation, and then include all the image that are linked with object. So -5, 10, 15, and 25, close, and that will be your answer for number 2. Okay, that is your range. So right now, right, your mind start to capture down. Okay, if the next question or in the future there's a question asking me for range, right, ataupun julat hubungan, this is the correct way for you to write the range answer or julat. All right, so 2A, this one I think should be clear, 1 mark. All right, now you may consider pause the video to write down any notes if you need. Then I will move on to the next part. Now we have question B. Function gx equal to 3 minus x is expressed in the form of ordered pairs. Now when they say ordered pairs, this is x and this is y. When I say x, right, x means object. Y means image. So every column or every bracket here, you must understand that this is your object, this is your image. Okay, how do we find the value of p? So our function is gx equal to 3 minus x. Now I want you to try. If you put object 4 here, object is x, right? As I said before. So g4, that means your answer, you should get something like this, right? P equal to p minus 10, right? Okay, so now you try to replace. If your x turns into 4, then your x here should be 4 as well. So over here, which means 3 minus 4 will get the answer p minus 10. Now if you take this equation, go and find your p, all you have to do is to move -10 to the left. And therefore 3 minus 4 plus 10. Because a negative sign, if you put to the other side, you get addition. So plus 10 equal to p. P is 3 minus 4 plus 10. How much is that? P minus 4 plus 10, 3 minus 4 plus 10 is 9 positive. Okay, and that will be your answer for question B. All right, I hope you are clear so far. So that will be your question 2B answer. Let us move on to number 3, okay? Now, number 3, it's about vector. You learned this in your Form 4 Chapter 8. 3A. Diagram 3 shows A vector and C to D on the square grid. Now, focus on how many square grid that they use up for a single A. They use 4 here and they connect from the edge to the edge of a square with 2 unit by 2 unit. Over here we have CD. How many 4 square grid they have? 1, 2, and this is obviously not a full small 4 square grid, but it's okay. All right, we knew that this is 1 complete, 2 complete, and this one should be half of it. All right, half of it. Now let's look at the question, what they asked for. Express CD in terms of A. CD in terms of A. All right, C to D. Now this is A, right? So this is one set. One set is A. I got another set here. This is another A. So A plus A, how many A's already? 2A already, right? But do you notice when it comes over here, right? This third square grid, it only goes halfway. Separuh sahaja. Only half. So if you want to represent numerical equation for half, it's 1 over 2, right? 1 over 2, right? So that means this is 1 over 2a. 1 over 2a. Okay, so 2a, you tambah dengan 1 over 2a. How much is that? You take your calculator, you press 2 plus 1 over 2. I'm sure you're going to get this answer, 5 over 2. And then you write it back a here. Okay, so 5 over 2a is your answer, but you're going to answer here C1. Sorry, 3-1 here. C to D is 5 over 2a vector. There you go. All right, now number 2, draw negative 4a on diagram 3. What does negative represent in vector while we learn this chapter? Negative means you are going in opposite direction. If today positive, right, means you're going to go straight, but if you give me a negative sign, you are telling me to go the opposite way. So right now, if the A is going this way, your negative A, let me erase all this. A is going this direction. Negative means you are going this direction. And how do you draw 4A here? So 4A means you have 4 times of the A vector, right? So your A itself is the square grid connecting edge to edge. This is a single A, but you have 4, 4. So let's try to draw 4A first. Don't worry about the negative sign. You draw the 4A first. Okay, now we can focus here. We draw the square grid. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I want you to draw this 4. This is to help you make sure that you don't draw any out of the 4A here. So this is 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A, right? See, job done. 4A, we already have it. Okay, next is we label down C to D. All right, CD. As I said, if you want to have negative 4A, your direction is going in the opposite, right? So you draw here this arrow, opposite direction, and then label negative 4A. There you go. Job done. Okay, so negative 4A for CD is exactly like this. Okay, so let me draw, or let me write it down. Refer to diagram. Okay, so that will be for question 3, part A, 1 and 2. We have another 2 marks here. Okay, CD is 5 over 2A, and then as for number 2, you're going to draw like this, negative 4A. Okay, now let's move on to question B. We have diagram 4 shows the straight line AB. Given that point C lies on AB such that AC to CB is equal to 2:1, find the coordinates of C. Now, another 2 marks. This question, right, is actually from your Form 4 Chapter 7, Coordinate Geometry. Okay, it is the very first subtopic that you learn in Chapter 7, divisor line of segment. So over here, let me write it down. AC ratio to CB is 2:1, right? Okay, that means your C is the divisor between point A and B. So let me just tell you how do you interpret this information. You look at it this way. AC refers to ratio 2, CB refers to ratio 1. Now, AC itself, okay, is 2. 2 is larger than 1, right? So AC, the gap between A and C should be longer comparing to C to B. So this is C here, the ratio is 2 here. See, it's longer. And then from C to B, right, should be shorter. For your coordinates here, you have X and Y. And how are you going to find this X and Y? Let me teach you the method to find coordinate C here. Okay, now write it down. Divisor point always on your left. I repeat that again. Divisor point is always on your left. And then equal to, open up a big brackets. Okay, remember how I do this, huh? Step by step. First thing, I want you to take the ratio, multiply the crossover X value. So this is 2, multiply -1. We focus on X first, yeah? Plus, this ratio 1 here, multiply opposite X value. So this is 1, multiply with 5 here, over total ratio. Total ratio means 1 plus 2. All right, settle. This is for X. This is for X coordinates. Now let's move on to Y. Again, take the 2 here, multiply with the opposite coordinate -1 for Y. So this is 2 multiply -1 plus, take the 1 here, multiply with opposite Y value. Divided by 1 plus 2. Okay, now I want you to calculate this carefully and tell me what is the answer that you get. Because if not mistaken, you're going to get a final answer. By calculating this, you should get 1, a whole number. By calculating this part, this is for Y, you get 2 as a result. So your C coordinate eventually is 1, 2. And there you go, another 2 marks. So for every chapter 7 subtopic 1 question like this, to find the divisor point coordinate, all you have to do is apply this method. It is fixed and it's straightforward. No other methods easier than using this method, which is taught in your textbook. Okay, now write it down. Question B. I hope you get this correct. And let us move on to question number 3. All right, for question number 3, all we have is, it is given that P is 4, 5 and Q is 2, 1, lies on a line on a Cartesian plane. Find the equation of straight line, which is perpendicular to the straight line PQ and passing through point P. Now, if you couldn't imagine the diagram, draw it out. So we have a perpendicular line to PQ passing through point P. I assume that the point P here forms a 90-degree because it says perpendicular to the straight line PQ and passing through point P. So this is P and Q here. We have a straight perpendicular line here. Our goal is to find out, okay, perpendicular line is the garis berserenjang, okay? So I have to find the equation for this, for the perpendicular line. Okay, y equal to mx plus c. How do we do that? Okay, we have coordinate P here, 4, 5, and we have Q here, it's 2, 1. So first of all, of course, we have to understand what is the gradient of the PQ first. Because we also learned before m1 times m2 equal to -1. Okay, that is the method or concept that we learned in chapter 7 or so. So over here, I will go and find out gradient of PQ first. Okay, you too, please go and find out. Gradient of PQ can be found using y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So y2 minus y1, all you will get is 1 minus 5 divided by 2 minus 4. It doesn't matter which coordinate you use first, as long as you stay consistent. So 1 minus 5 over 2 minus 4, you get -4 over -2, which you get eventually, it's a +2. Now, gradient of PQ multiplied with gradient of the perpendicular line equal to -1. This is another concept you learn in this subtopic, all right, parallel and perpendicular line. So gradient of PQ is 2, gradient of the perpendicular line equal to -1. Gradient of perpendicular line is equal to -1. Bring the 2 to the right, you get divided by 2. Next is to form the equation of the perpendicular line. Now, I always teach my student to use this method, y minus y1 equal to m bracket x minus x1. Because this is much more faster than just using the y equal to mx plus c. Because if you use this method, you have to find individually for the c value. However, for this method, y1 and x1, choose the coordinate that passing through the line equation that you want to find. For example, in this case, you want to find perpendicular line that passes through point P, right? Make sure you use the point P coordinates. So this is y minus 5 equal to gradient -1 over 2 bracket x minus 4. And then you want to rearrange this equation into y equal to mx plus c format. Okay, so this is y minus 5 equal to -1 over 2x plus -1 over 2 times -4. What do you get as a result? If you times that, you get 2, right? Positive 2. And then you bring over -5 to the back, it becomes positive. So this is -1 over 2x plus 2 plus 5. You get -1 over 2x plus 7. There you go. Mission complete. 3 marks in your hands. Okay, and that will be number 3. So there's a few things here for you to learn. Number 1 is finding gradient. Number 2 is this concept. A perpendicular line means m1, m2 equal to -1. So this is the normal line and this is the perpendicular line. Make sure these two gradient, their gradient multiplied together, you get -1. Next is form equation. You gotta understand how to form an equation, and that is very important. Okay, that would be 3C. Now let us move on to question 4. Question 4 stated, diagram 5 shows a circle with center O and an arc AB which subtends an angle theta read at O. It is given that the radius of the circle is R unit and the length of the minor arc AB is S unit. Based on diagram 5, derive S equal to R theta. Now, they want us to show or prove this formula. Okay, how do we do that? We start from S over 2 pi R equal to theta per 360. Okay, since they want us to prove about the arc, right? The arc, which is panjang lengkok. Okay, so I'm using this method over 2 pi R. 2 pi R means this is a cara untuk dapatkan lilitan bulatan, alright, circumference. And then we have theta over 360 degree because the theta here is for a specific sector, and then per 360 means the full circle. So from here alone, right, we just have to bring the 2 pi r to the right hand side. S equal to theta over 360 degree times 2 pi r. The 360 degree, it's also a 2 pi r, okay, because 2 pi r represent 260, sorry, it represents 2 pi. So theta over 2 pi, okay, 2 pi is equal to 360, yeah, because pi is 180 and 2 pi is 360. So over here, we will convert 360 to 2 pi, multiply 2 pi r. 2 pi and 2 pi can be cancelled. You're left with theta and r, but the formula stated this is r theta, so maybe you want to rearrange the sequence here. And that is how you derive the formula, S equal to r theta. Okay, now this answer is fixed, I would say. So if you could actually memorize it or you understand it, then that would be the best. Otherwise, I would suggest you drop this question first, go on to the next question, and then come back later. Okay, you don't want to waste time in trying to prove this formula just for the 2 marks. Okay, now I'm encouraging you to use your time wisely. All right, not to stick on to one question so long that you forget to answer the rest of the question. Okay, now this is number 4. Shall we move on? Let's move on to the next part. Okay, number 5. Okay, we come into logarithm questions, which I think most of the students might struggle with this question. But if you understand how to apply those laws, it'll be very easy for you to solve this. Okay, let's see. We have log np equal to x, we have log np equal to y. Using the laws of logarithm, express the following in terms of x and y. We start from this one. So what do we do first? We can consider log m per n over p. We try to use base p. We convert this into base p because we learned before one of the rules is log ab you can convert into log cb over log ca. You can decide whichever base you want. So if I choose p, then this is log pp over log p m divided by n. Now I already understand that log pp is equal to 1. When the base and the value are the same, it's equal to 1. So this is another smart sub-knowledge you have to understand. So this is 1 over, next thing you also learned before, log a m per n, right, should be log a m minus log a n. You learn another rule here. So that means the denominator here, you can convert into log pm minus log pn. This is a valid rule. So next thing is, but I notice the question here is log mp. It's not log pm, right? Right now we have log pm, but this is log mp. So how do we do? Okay, we learned also one more rule here. Log AB is the same as 1 over log BA, which means if we currently at this stage, log AB, we can convert it into 1 over log BA. Tukar kepada 1 over log MP minus 1 over log NP. There you go. See, now you can convert all those into x and y already. So over here, right, this is actually 1 over log NP is x, log NP is y. Now, the next thing is, some student might struggle how to actually convert this and make it into a final answer. That doesn't look like a final answer, right? So I'm going to get you step by step. Don't worry, you're going to get it. So over here, you want to make it same denominator. For this x and y, right, you have to multiply this y. Over here, multiply x. So what you're going to get is 1 over, this is y over xy minus x over xy. So you will get the same denominator now. This is 1 over. When you have same denominator, right, you can combine, becomes 1. So x minus y over xy, okay? Of course, over here is y minus x, but you can just switch it like y minus x or x minus y. It's the same thing. Now the next thing is, let me just double check if I change it correctly or not. All right, the log np, right, should be x, okay? That, yeah, correct. So over here, next thing I want to do is 1 divided by the whole thing. Macam mana nak bahagikan? Okay, so this one, right, you can convert into 1 divided by x minus y over xy. This is for students who not sure how to divide a fraction. Okay, I'm teaching you how to divide a fraction. So for every whole number here, at the bottom there is a 1. Next thing, 1 here, you multiply with this fraction here, you flip it. So you see 1 times xy and 1 times x minus y, all you get is, you get back the same thing, xy over x minus y. And that will be your final answer. Okay, for division like this, I believe students with weaker foundations, they might struggle to solve this. But right now, I'm teaching you, you can tukar this format into this format. You write it 1, the division sign, the fraction, and then the fraction, you flip it up, you change it into multiplication sign. And then all you have to do is to multiply horizontally. So 1 times xy, you get xy. 1 times x minus y, you get x minus y. Okay, now the next thing, which is the last part of the questions I'm going to do for this video, which is question 6. All right, question 5, already done it. It's logarithm, chapter 4. Now we move on to question 6, okay? And also, you may consider pause the video if you need it. All right, now let's move on to question 6. Solve the following simultaneous equations by using method of substitution or elimination. Okay, we have 3 equations here. And this is probably what you learned in Form 4 Chapter 3, right? So let's begin. First thing, we label down equation 1, equation 2, equation 3. I personally like to do substitution, okay? Because that is much more safer for me comparing to I have to think of a number and then multiply it. No, I don't like to do that, so I'm going to use substitution method for now, okay? Now, my first step would be I notice there is a single y here at equation 2. Maybe I'm going to pick this as a starting point. So I will convert this equation into y equal to move the 4z and negative 3x to the back. So you get positive 3x minus 4z, sorry, not equal, and then followed by negative 7. I take this as equation 4. Now, once you make it into equation 4, right, you have to put 4 into the other two equations. Put it into the other two equations. Substitute into other two equations. So that means sub 4 into 1 and 3. 1 and 3. Okay, so 1 and 3 means 2x plus 3 bracket 3x minus 4z minus 7 minus 2x equal to negative 6. The other side is negative 4x minus 5 bracket 3x minus 4z minus 7 close bracket minus 6z equal to positive 4. Alright, then from here, right, you want to solve all the way down. So over here, this is 2x plus 9x minus 12z minus 21 minus 2. Alright, this is z, right? So be careful with the writing. 2z equal to negative 6. 2 plus 9 is 11x. Negative 12. Negative 2 is negative 14z. And then 21 you move to the back is negative 6 plus 21. Negative 6 plus 21 you get 15. If you move this to the right, that is plus 14z. Move 11 to the back. Divide by 11. And that is your x. Label this as equation 5. Next, let's continue on the right side. Negative 4x, negative 15x, plus 20z, plus 35, minus 6z equal to 4. Negative 4, negative 15 is negative 19. 20z minus 6z is 14. And then we have 35. Bring to the back, you get 4 minus 35. 4 minus 35 is negative 31. Bring 14z to the back, minus 14z. Bring negative 19 to the back, divide by negative 19. And that will be your x. Label this as equation 6. Do you notice the left-hand side is x, right-hand side is x? Like 5 and 6 is both x, right? So they are the same thing right now. What I would do is I would write 5 equal to 6. 5 equal to 6 because both I express x as my subject already. So that means I'm doing 15 plus 14z divided by 11 equal to negative 31 minus 14z over negative 19. Okay, over here, maybe students with weaker foundation, you might confuse how to continue, but it's okay. I'm here to guide you. So use the ratio method, or you call it whatever cara nisbah. All right, you're going to cross multiply here. So when you do cross multiplication, okay, this is 15 plus 14z multiplied with negative 19 equal to 11 multiplied with negative 31 minus 14z. Alright, I'm running out of space already. I will consider to move this up a bit, move this left a bit, so that I have some space to continue on top here. Okay. Alright, let me continue from here. So this one, you gotta expand this. 15 times negative 19 is negative 285. Negative 19 times 14z is negative 266z equal to 11 times negative 31, or what we get here is negative 341. And then 11 times negative 14z, you get negative 154z. So over here, right, you should be able to get your z value already. Okay, so from here, we do negative 266z plus 154z equal to negative 341 plus 285. So negative 266 plus 154, you get negative 112z. And then negative 341 plus 285, you get negative 56. So z is actually negative 56 over negative 112. You get 1 over 2 after simplifying further. Z is 1 over 2 positive, and then you're going to write here when z is 1 over 2, your x should be 15 plus 14 multiply 1 over 2 over 11. By pressing calculator, you should be able to get your x value equal to 2. All I do is to substitute the z into equation 5. You can put it back into equation 5 or 6, it doesn't matter because both will reflect your x answer. So once you get your x, once you get your z, the next thing is you want to get your y value. Putting it into equation 4. Okay, so equation 4, which is y equal to 3 bracket 2 minus 4 times 1 over 2 minus 7. Okay, now try to expand this bracket, input all this information into your calculator, and you should get an answer y equal to negative 3. So conclusion, my x is 2, y is negative 3, and my z is actually 1 over 2. And that is all for question 6, altogether 5 marks. All right, so in this video we will only cover up to 6 questions, otherwise the video will be too lengthy. And so if you have any questions, or if you guys like this video, please consider subscribe and share it to your friend, because I believe this will help a lot of students who are struggling with the foundation. Even so, this is the latest SBM 2024 questions, so I really hope that this video will help you all in terms of getting improved for the basics, and as well as all those topics that you are weaker. Okay, now my name again is Sir Jaden. You can call me Sir or anything with Jaden. And I do actually make the trial compilations sort by chapter, and then I included my handwritten answers. If you are interested with that, do consider finding the link below the video at the description part, and I'll be there to assist you, or you can comment down below whichever topics or paper that you would like me to discuss, because I will consider and read all the comments. Thank you very much for all the supports. I will continue part 2 very soon. See you in the next part. Bye bye.